Hello and welcome to another update video about the TLT. TLT cooperates very well with our scenario and idea that we have seen a more substantial low. Here, that was in October, and that the price formed a substantial low at the time. We pointed out in our videos end of October that there was a long-term support area on the chart that was reached, so the price touched it, that the wave count to the downside was technically full, and that we are watching for a low in this region for a larger corrective bounce that could reach the resistance area. The resistance area has been reached, but really only the first level. I think we should ideally go a little higher. We're going to take a look at that in this video, but the idea is that in both scenarios, I would like to see the price go a little higher, maybe after a corrective pullback. The idea is that looking at the bigger picture, the market obviously rallied, into the 2020 high in a corrective pattern. So I call that a WXY structure. And then the move down, I see it as a 5-wave move. Okay. So that could be either a wave 1 to the downside, which would be super bearish, or just an A wave. And the move up is now a wave 2 or a B wave. And then we should come down in a 3 or a C wave, and then still see a 4 and 5. If we see the 4-5, it's impossible to say that now. It would be a guess, okay? It's not so important because it will take many, many years before we actually know that. So I prefer to live in the present. And currently what we see is we're in an uptrend. We basically called the low at the time, at least pointed out where substantial support is sitting and that we are watching for a corrective bounce. And now let's take a look at the structure and how the rally emerged from the lows. Looking at the daily chart, I see this as I said, either a wave 2 or a B wave bounce. I've got 2 wave counts on the chart. I just have them here for info. It doesn't really matter if it's a B wave or a wave 2 that's unfolding right now. First of all, we are likely stuck here in some kind of a corrective rally. So at the moment, I can identify 3 waves up off the low. I'm going to give you a micro count in a minute. I currently see this as a B wave to the downside, possibly with a C wave to come. Just need to shift it because when I go to the 4-day chart, it all looks a bit different. But this is sort of how I see it primarily. A, B, C. This could then form a larger A wave, then another B wave and a C wave rally. This A wave might maybe even go a little higher, but my primary assumption would be that a top is in this A wave. That means we can add a support area to the chart for the B wave pullback. B waves don't really have targets. They can be very shallow, they can be very deep, but I normally use the area between the 78.6 and the 38.2 retracement. So between $86 and $93.24. And yeah, from there, I would look for a C wave rally. Now, again, if the price turns a little early, it might be, and we go to the 4-hour chart now, it might be that this A wave gets one more high. If you're not so familiar with Elliott wave, A waves can get 3-wave moves. They can form 3 waves or they can form 5 waves. So it's either, probably we have this, need to probably go to the 1-hour chart. So yeah, best I can tell is that this here was probably the A wave. It's a nice, or even here, 3-wave move, A, B, and then here possible C wave top. This can be counted as 5. So we have either in the white count here, an ABC structure complete, or, and that would be my alternative, I would see this here as the wave 1, this here as the wave 2, this is the wave 3, 4, but then it would be, then the A wave would form a 5-wave move, but it would be a leading diagonal, probably. So, but then it might be just one more marginally higher high before starting that B wave pullback. Either way, the pullback to me looks corrective, and let me take the trend line out. I don't know why that's there. So, and I would expect either somewhere from here in the wave 4 or in a B wave, that's the primary scenario, at one of these fib levels, a reversal in a C wave. At least that's what I'm watching for. Again, support levels at 93.24, 91.08, 88.96 and 86.03. A break below 86.03 would mean that, yeah, the assumption here isn't already below 88.96. You know, the TLT normally shouldn't really move in a B wave below the golden ratio, but you know, never say never. Therefore, I take the entire box as relevant, and it just gives you the levels where you can watch for reactions. But yeah, would expect it to go a little higher eventually. And if something changes, I will let you know. And then if we talk about the next levels, resistance levels to watch, really, if we go back to the daily chart here on this main Fibonacci retracement zone, the 38.2 retracement, which could be one of the next targets, is at $111, but it will ultimately depend on where the B wave lands. So maybe we don't even get there in this initial A wave. So I will, once we have a B wave low in place, I can give you a target for wave C to the upside. That's my update about the TLT. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you're interested in daily updates about the S&P 500 as well as regular updates about stocks, check out our S&P 500 and stock service. You'll find a link in the video description. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.